All right. Good evening, viewers, wherever you are. And this is Africa Special. And tonight we have a very sad story to share. And this is a story that is making headlines everywhere. And we here in Africa were able to get one of the family members to come and narrate to us this story that is affecting the family. Imagine your father being in the mortuary for the last 7 to 8 months ago, almost a year, because of family dispute. And we have one of the family members. His name is Mburu. He'll introduce himself officially to tell us what has been going on. Because what we read in the press and what we have, and even the rumors, this is such an emotional story of Mzee James Kinani Mburu, who passed away so many months ago. And the body still lies and buried at Kijabe Mission Hospital. We have his son here, and this is something that you need to listen, and maybe it will be a lesson to so many other families out there. Karibu sana, Bwana Mburu.
Asante sana Mzalendo. Mzalendo, I never thought at any given time we
Mm,
can be in a situation like this one. We only hear on the TV, on the radios, that someone has not been buried for years. But this
yes.
one has happened in our family, which is unfortunate. But we take things as they come.
How, I
Yes,
mean,
as you have
y-
said, I know many of the Afrique 24 members and followers. When they see me, they wonder what is going on. They cannot really connect me with the story because I'm always here on the media
mm,
talking about other people and giving stories of other people and other families, discussing politics. But now we are discussing my family.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, sometimes I wonder where you get the strength. Ingekuwa ni mimi hata magoti ya kutembea ama kuimagine that my father is in the mortuary, and yet my brothers and sisters are the ones who are causing this kind of pain to me. Oh, I mean, tell us how this thing started. How did this
Yeah,
thing begin?
Brendo, even before we proceed, I would like to touch that in a span of less than 1 year, we have lost three family members who are the icons or the pillars of the family. We lost our mom in the month of July, that is 2024, and she was buried on August 3rd. Then our father was touched so much by the death of our mom, such that he used to go to that side of the grave to
Mm,
stay there every day in the morning.
mm-hmm,
And he would go there every day and cry because of the loss of
mm-hmm,
his wife.
mm-hmm.
And he didn't take more than 3 months. He also passed on.
Yeah. History, I mean, history or science tells us that people who have lived with each other for so long, they have got a
Yes,
telepathic kind of communication that, they call each other. Hey, I
that,
can't be
that
there
tells
again.
you how much that tells you how much connected they were
Mm.
with our mom.
Yes.
Uh, he lost he lost interest with life after he lost his wife
Mm.
because they were always together. They loved each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never expected that anybody would come and say that they are not supposed to be interred together.
Wow.
Uh, so after 3 months, after we
Mm-hmm.
buried our mom, after 3 months, our dad also died.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And our dad had said,
Mm.
because he was an old man,
Mm.
and he was a very strong man, though he was old.
Mm.
Muzarendo would like you to know that our father was 92 years, but he used to drive himself. He would take himself anywhere in
Mm-hmm.
this region. He would
Mm.
drive from Gilgil to Thika and back. That is how strong he was. His eyesight, when he was driving, he used not to use glasses. He was very sober, you know, to the last minute. The only time when he was not driving is when he was in the hospital. Uh, so he died at Kejabi Hospital, and as we had lived with him for over 40 years in Gilgil.
Mm.
Though we had another home at Gatanga, which
Mm.
he had gifted part of it to our mom,
Mm.
and part of it he had given to a sister, then
Mm.
another portion
Mm.
to their first wife. There was a
Mm-hmm.
woman he had married called Phelis Wajiro,
Mm-hmm.
who is also deceased,
Mm-hmm.
but they separated many years ago. They separated
Mm.
many years ago,
Mm.
and even in the court submissions,
Yes.
the children of Phelis said that there were 10 children and 6 of them died.
Mm.
But what they were not telling the court is
Mm.
whether all the 10 children belonged to Boro Kenani.
Mm.
Because the information we have from very credible source and also from our dad himself is
Yes.
that due to the conflict that they were having, he
Mm.
decided to gift the first wife a portion of his land.
Mm.
And after that, he married another wife, who was the second wife,
Mm.
and still they could not stay together. The
Mm-hmm.
second wife left,
Mm-hmm.
and he married another wife, the
Mm-hmm.
third wife,
Yes.
and still they could not stay together. The third wife left,
Your
and
dad was such
finally,
a player, man. Mm?
he was not a player, he was a tough man. Actually, he was
Eh?
a very tough man. Those people
And
who
then,
know those people who know our dad is
uh-huh.
that they will tell you he was a very tough guy.
Now he has. In a span of how many years did he live with these women that is dropping and picking
I
others?
may not be able to
You are not
quantify
born.
that.
You are not born yet.
I was not born yet.
Oh, okay. Now we are at
so
number three.
finally,
We are at number three.
so finally, we were at number 3, and finally,
Mm.
our dad married our mother, and
Uh-huh.
he was able to stay with our mother for over 40 years until he died. It
Wow.
means there was something he was looking for, and he found it in our mom.
Mm. Mm.
If I'm to talk something, and I'm not trying to praise our mom, about her is that she was so submissive,
Mm-hmm.
a very humble woman,
Mm.
and a godly woman.
A
And
God
I think
fearing.
that's
Why?
why
Mm.
God fearing.
Mm.
And even if when Mzee is angry and when he is talking, and our mom would not respond back to him,
Mm-hmm.
such that they were able to breed, they were able to live together for so
Mm.
many years. You
Mm.
see?
Yeah.
So so we lived with him at Gilgil for over 40 years.
Mm.
Before, our mom was married by another man
Mm-hmm.
who was called Teacher Joseph Mugedi. He was a school principal,
Mm.
and he had some children with
Mm.
him.
Mm.
That one we are not hiding. So
Mm.
some of my siblings, we don't belong to the same father, you see,
Oh, you don't
but we
belong to
belong,
the father.
but we belong to the same mother. So from my mother's side, we have no dispute whatsoever. But now, when our dad died, the children of the first wife, not even of the second or the third, the
Mm.
children of the first wife who was gifted land in our father's place in the ancestral land, she
Mm.
was given piece of it, and
Mm.
she lived there all these years. They were not living with our father in the same house as a husband and wife
Oh,
for all these years.
all right, Mburu.
But now,
Just I know I
yes,
don't want your flow thoughts to and I also don't want to miss a point where we have an
Yes,
interaction. Now,
yes.
your father gave the first wife the property, and then told her, okay, fine, you ende ukae huko na watoto wako na nini. Did this woman ever get married?
She never got married to any other man, but she
She
got
never.
children with other men in the same in
Oh,
the
she
same
ne-
property that she was gifted by her father.
so this so okay, she got other children in the same property
She
with
got other
other men.
children
Other
who did
men, yeah,
not belong to Boro Kenan with other men. So those children who were born
outside the
outside the
wedlock,
union,
outside the
outside the
union.
union,
Uh-huh.
outside the union of our father Boro Kenani
Mm-hmm.
with Phelis Wajiro,
Mm-hmm.
those children are now coming claiming that they are the biological children and therefore they have more rights than us who have lived
Oh,
with him for
all
over 40
right.
years.
Up to where we are. Up to where we are
Yes,
now, viewers. Just listen to this intriguing story. You marry a woman, she goes out there, has children with other men, and then the children of the other men that apparently she went out with come back and
yes.
say that, okay, we also have another father who happened not to be living with my mother, lives with another wife, and
Yes,
he's died, and we want the property. But who are their
you are
fathers? Have you ever
you
identified?
are a very good question.
Mm,
So the key question here is why are they claiming that Boro Kenani, our father, is their father? The answer is because of properties. If he was a
mhm.
poor man, they would not care
They would not
to
care.
associate themselves
It's
to
called the
associate
poor.
themselves with him.
Yeah,
So
the poor bury
them,
themselves. Yeah. Hmm.
the connection between them and our father is the lad which he gifted to their mother, and they were born there. So I was very close to my father, and
Hmm.
we discussed everything. We discussed everything, the same thing with our mom. Our father, you cannot live with somebody for your entire life, then fail to get information about his life. He was a
Hmm.
very open person.
Mm.
They are from Zarebo. He had categorically said, okay, these are my children because they were raised in my farm, in my property, and he would support them when they needed him. He raised them, he supported them. So, on that basis, we also acknowledge and we also recognize them as the children of our father. We had no
Mm.
problem whatsoever. But now, what brought all this conflict is when now they started saying that our father should not be buried where he has lived all these years, and he should be taken back to the ancestral land where he came from, according to the Kikuyu tradition.
Mhm. Mhm.
We produced a video of our father saying exactly that if I die, he thought he would die before our mom,
Mm.
uh, but he died after.
Mhm.
So that time he was saying where he should be buried, our mom was still alive.
Mm.
And in the video, he said, tell my wife, Magdalene,
Mm.
or Mama Nganga, I am the Nganga in the family,
Mhm.
in our family.
Mm.
Tell my wife that I should be buried at my home in Gilgil. He described the place, we call it Mifawine. I think
Mm.
is Mifawe is cedar, the cedar trees.
Mm.
There is a place with the trees. He had already prepared a grave site. It was already fenced.
Mm.
And we know when you listen to the video, you
Mm.
will be able to tell where he was describing.
Wow.
Even
Wow.
after showing them the video of our father saying where he
Mm,
should be buried, they
mm,
were not satisfied.
mm,
But one of them, Edis
mm,
Wairimo, who is also saying he should be buried where he did not say, said,
mm,
even me, he had told me where I should be buried.
mm,
The clan members came out and they said, we also know because he had talked about it.
mm,
Family members came out and they said he had told almost everybody who mattered to him
mm,
where he
mm,
should be buried.
mm,
And therefore, it would be so unfair if we
mm.
sit down and say, okay, let us just agree with them. Because we know very well, Mzalendo, the reason why we are having this problem, it is
Mm.
not a burial dispute. It
It's a
is
property dispute.
people, it is property dispute, but people are hiding behind the body. Let us disturb this family which has been with him.
Mhm,
We are the people who are grieving. Sisi ndio tumefiwa. Let us disturb them with the body so that they feel the pain, then they succumb to our demands, which are property demands. One,
mhm,
they said they need
mm,
half of our mother's house.
mhm. Half of your mother's
And they
house.
also said half of our mother's house, they need it. They also
How do you get
said, apart
how do you
from,
get half of your mother's house? How what does that mean?
they were making crazy demands because in our family,
Mm,
people are very soft and very diplomatic
mm,
and very gentle and very
mm.
godly. If you compare ourselves with them, I don't know how you might describe the two. We are totally different. I think we were raised
I
differently.
can you know, for the sake of our listener out there, and for the sake
Yes.
of our audience generally, guys, if you're joining us, I
Yes.
can see Gypsy on the comment section. We are talking about a story that it began as a mourning of a father, and now it has ended as a court battle in the corridors of justice. And the battle is with the resting place of Mzee Muru, and the fight amongst the siblings. They are fighting over the resting place and the property of the late Mzee. Here comes the story of the Kikuyu tradition. Yeah, the Kikuyu tradition. Mburu, please. The Kikuyu tradition dictates that he should be buried where he lived and raised his family.
Now, before we go to that, Mzalendo, you had asked me another question which I don't want to forget.
Yes,
I said they claim to be biological children.
yes.
How do we determine that somebody is biological or not?
DNA.
It's DNA.
Yes.
And that is where we shall head to. Because to us, we are saying these are imposters. Yes, we know they belong to the wife who was married at a certain point by our
Mm-hmm.
father.
Mm-hmm.
But basing on the fact that we have lived with our father for over 4 decades,
Okay.
and then somebody
Yani
comes, then
DNA.
somebody comes and then somebody comes and tells you, okay, he is our father. You have to hand the body over to us. I want to answer the question you had asked me. Who are their fathers?
Who are their fathers? These siblings. Who are they,
We have
according to you? Hmm?
we have Joyce Modoni, who is actually spearheading all these conflicts. She
Mm-hmm.
is the head of these wars and lies, especially on the social media. I think she thinks that we are afraid of social media or the media. What she doesn't know, this is our life. When you know, okay, Joyce Modoni's father was called the late Evans. Washai. Washai
Mm-hmm.
was a neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
and also he's the one who fathered another sister called Hannah Wajiko. But they think, or
Also.
they thought we are not privy to this information.
Mm-hmm.
That one, even if you saw
So
that
so
man,
so
because
so kajirani kaligonga wife ya Buddha, si ndio?
no, by then they were not living together. Our father had no problem. Unajua kuna venye unaweza patia mtu shaba kwa sababu hutaki kuona akiteseka, mmeishi na yeye, but you are not compatible. And our
Ya
father
kweli
wrote
kweli
so
kweli
many,
kweli.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, if you are not, instead of you people staying together there and kill each other, what do? You
Walk
still
away.
continue to be nice with that partner and
Mm.
walk away. And that's what our father did, you know,
Mm-hmm.
akawapatia shaba na yeye akaondokea. So
Mm.
hakuwa na shida ni nani anaenda huko ama nini. Watu waliendelea kusema ni waifu yake, kwa sababu kama bado anaishi kwa shamba yake, si
Eh. Many. And did
but
they
now
maintain communication with your mom? Did at any time, maybe during
uh,
Christmas, you celebrated together or any other festive
never,
season?
never,
Mm.
never. You
Never,
know,
not, yes.
we lived in Gilgil. They lived in Gatanga. Gatanga is in Murang'a. Gilgil is in Left Valley. You see?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
But Brenda, we want to tell you, there was a time for, I told you we also have a piece of land at Gatanga adjacent to their property.
Mm.
There was a time our father took us there for about 2 years
Mm.
because our mother wanted to do farming in that farm.
Mm.
But we realized we could not stay together. We realized we were going to die. It was chaotic. So
Yeah. Oh,
our
so
father
these two families came together.
not together. They had their place. We had our place. We have our farm. They have their farm. We have our house. They have
Lakini
their house.
mnakutana wapi? Where do you meet?
Uh, where we were meeting is that they would organize themselves. You see, we were young, especially myself. I was very young. I think I was in nursery school or something like
Mm.
that. But they would organize themselves. They were bigger, and they would team up with other children from my auntie's side, and they
Mm-hmm.
would beat up my
Wow.
sisters. They would
Mm-hmm.
beat them physically. So, and this happened severally. So what happened? Our dad had no option. He had left part of our children, especially the older brother Charles, was left at Gilgil when we had
Mm.
gone to stay at Gatanga. We stayed there for like 2 years. But can I
Mm.
tell you, and maybe they think we forgot,
Mm.
we could not buy even the livestock. And maybe I don't want to go into details. We could
No, no,
not
no.
keep.
We will go. We will get there some other day. Today we want to introduce our
You get
this
there.
story.
You get there. I
We will
have a
get
lot
there
of
some other day.
details.
We are just
Yes.
giving us
Now,
an
Mzalendo,
overview
I
because this
want to
matter is
finish.
also before the court. Yeah.
I wanted to finish this and say. So I told you, Joyce Modoni, and I want her to hear that. Hannah Wanjiko, and I know they know because they know their fathers.
Na
That's the good thing.
baba yao yuko na yuko hai.
No, their father is late now. He died just
Oh.
some few years ago. That we have no problem with them calling themselves the children of Boro Kinani, the biological children, but we have reached to a point where they have now to prove what they are alleging, because it's common law that he who alleges should do what?
You must
Should prove.
prove beyond reasonable doubt that hey, this is my dad indeed. Huyu ndi baba yangu. Huh?
And so we have we reach there. So we have the other two sisters. One is called Edis Wairimu and Mercy Wamboi. Both of them were fathered by a man who is actually a brother to our father was called Mr. Juma. Mr. Juma Kamoni.
Mi nakwambia hiyo family hiyo ni drama. Eh? This is you guys need to create a family drama story. This is a series. Hata si ati sasa now ati
So,
about Mburu.
these are things that people don't talk much, but they happen.
But yeah, they
Each and
happen.
every
That's life. They happen to men.
families have problems, and sometimes I see people trying to demonize that, oh, your mother was married as a, I don't know, second wife, so she's the reason why the other family was like this and that. I want to tell people this. Number one, they already had their own problems. Our father has written letters which I produced in court as old as early as 1970s on how they were having these conflicts. They were living in mayhem and all that kind of things. And apart from that, he had also married another two wives. So where does my mother come in there? So I want to say this: don't demonize someone because someone lost the first marriage and got married again. It is not evil. You know,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know our society, especially in Africa, when you remarry or when you lose a marriage or your husband dies and you get married, we tend to demonize that, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah,
You see, so
this story sounds like the
we
story of SM Otieno and the Omira
so
Gager clan. Yeah.
so we as the children of the late Magdalene Waithera, who was married as the last wife of Boro Kenani, and who was able to live with him more than any other woman. For over 40 years, they were together. They raised us together, educated us together, and God blessed them. Because, you know, even the Bible says that where there is unity, what happens?
Blessings.
God will release the blessings.
Yeah.
And the property right now they are coming to fight for are not properties that were made between their mother and our father. These are properties that our mother was so hardworking. Together with our father, they worked together to acquire these properties. And what I want to ask my sisters, I call them my sisters in quote, is that let us separate the two issues. The issue of value should not have any relationship with the property dispute. And if they are thinking by using the body of our father, we are going to succumb to that and do against our wish, I want them to know that won't be possible. The only thing that will resolve the value dispute is if they will let the wish and the will of our father be respected. And to that on the value issue, that is the irreducible
Minimum.
That as the family on the side of Magdalene, we can take. Irreducible minimum is to say our father had his own reasons why he had stated where he should be buried. And he knew exactly there are people who'd like to raise some disputes, who'd like to come and fight. That is why he stated categorically, if I die, bury me at this place. Any child who is now coming to say, you know, I care so much about my father, I'm touched so much, I feel, it is disrespectful to the father. If at all that is your father, then you cannot try, even traditionally, you cannot try to go against the words that your father has pronounced, unless you want to attract curse. So,
All right.
Mzarendo,
Okay.
that is
Let's go
basically,
on.
yes.
I said that this story is going to be very interesting, and the time that I've given you, and I know we need to cover a lot of topics in this particular story. Viewers, if you have not subscribed to Afrique 24, please make sure that you do subscribe to Afrique 24 to listen to the part two of this intriguing story where family members are fighting over over the body of their father and property. But the underlying factual story here is property. It's not even the body of the father. Now, Mburu, some
Yes, yes, Mzee.
have you like in my village we have elders. My father has got brothers and all that. People who would now come in such an issue and try and solve this particular issue. Uh, have you have you reached at? Did you ever start from that point?
Thank you so much, Muzarendo. And that's a very important question for the viewers to know. We have had a lot of blackmail and deceptions and lies on the media. People who are hiding things, they rush to the media so that they can spread a narrative that they have created to cover themselves.
Yes.
What these people are not telling the media or the public out there is that the court gave us time to go back to the clan and try to mediate this matter.
Yes.
And that happened. And the clan members, most of them said, our father, others, our uncle,
Mm.
others, our brother, had
Mm.
told us where he would wish to be buried. And
Yeah.
therefore,
And these old men they point hapa kwa hii miti
they,
hii.
they, 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 they wrote a ruling after
Mm.
they listened to both families and all that, which we went there for around 4 times. I would drive from Gilgil to Thika to attend the clan meetings. I even never thought our clan is so organized. They even have a clan stamp. They have structures and all that. Mzarendo, the clan was so organized. It was like a real court we were
They
attending.
surprised you.
I was surprised. I never expected that. They would hammer me with the questions. Why didn't you inform the clan that there was a dispute? And I told them, I thought we would agree between the two families. Mzarendo, I want the public to know that I am the spokesperson of my family on the side of Magdalene's family. And I initiated several meetings to try to resolve this problem. I called, I think, 4 meetings. But these sisters, in quote, they were so adamant, not listening. They are so violent, not being calm to, when you go for a meeting, you should be able to listen. And then you allow the other person to talk. Then they listen to you. You exchange ideas until you come into a conclusion. It was not like that. They would jump, they would become abusive, they would insult us, and such. That's why we were not in a position to agree. So the elders, the clan, made a pronouncement that our father should be buried at Gilgil, where he wished to be buried. After that, they divided the clan into 2. They called another meeting without us, without the chairman. They compromised some members to recant their own ruling, to recant their own signatures, to the point of saying they were not aware of what they were signing. People are not shameful, especially here in Kenya. When people are given
I know what played there. It's money
you know,
they're trying to make. More money, more money.
so, so it has become so hard because people are not honest. It's not like in America, whereby you can die with your truth, even when your truth can put you into problem. Here, you give
Mburu,
me some
Mburu,
money.
I want you to hang your thought there because I know that we need to take a break, a small break, then we will be back. I will call you. We'll be back with this particular show. We are taking a break shortly, and then we will be back, viewers. Just hang on there, Gypsy Corner. We will be back after this commercial break. Don't go away. Make sure that you have subscribed to our Freak 24, and please, if there are family members out there you are facing this a similar problem, kujeni hapa mtapata elimu ya bure dhidi ya vile kudeal na hizi maneno za kifamilia, na pia DNA ndio mwisho. DNA ndio mwisho. But Mburu, wacha nikuje baadaye, alafu tuone vile kutakuwa. Otherwise, asanteni sana you guys. We'll be back with Mburu after this short break.